Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee. This is Reefer Explained. Today we're taking a look at CO2 scrubbers, what they're all about, and see if you want to, jump on that path to better success for your corals, pH, and stabilizing that factor. Now, this is not to chase pH, it's just the understanding of it. So I'll just begin with the main product, what it does and what it's about and how you can start. So if you're new to the kind of hobby and you don't want to spend a load of money and you have a small reef tank, you can just start off with something very simple and cheap. So what we have here is a 1 liter, okay, reuse. You can reuse it. I did reuse this. It comes in a form like this with a pad on top and an air vent on the top, and then underneath the air can be sucked through here with a tube through the middle, and the media basically gets exhausted within, on my tank, it was getting exhausted around 5 to 6 weeks, maybe a bit less, on 1 liter of the media. Now this is a cheap option because it's realistically you meant to use it once, bin it, and then buy another one. But what I did was I used this and just took out the top and then refilled with the media. And then the media is something like this you can buy, or you can just buy some stuff from eBay, just refill it with the media you need to remove the CO2, and you're good to go. And this would basically, the way it would work is you'd plug on the tube here straight into your inline of your skimmer, and what it will do is if you have the windows closed a lot or you have a lot of people in your house, CO2 will build up on your reef tank and lower your pH, preventing the corals to grow as well and uptake alkalinity, calcium, and so forth. So the way this will work is that the media, it will go through the media before it enters into the skimmer, and then it will just strip out the CO2 in the air and just give you a better reef tank all round, because you're removing some of that CO2 before it enters the reef tank. Now, the reason I like this is I started with this and I got great success. So what happened was, as soon as I plugged this onto my inline of my skimmer, I'd actually bought a pH probe from Reef Factory, didn't know much about it, and tested before I put this on. And I was hovering around 8 to 8.1 when I had the windows open. At night time, it crashed down to around 8. And then I kind of tested that with some test kits and another pH pen that was from Amazon, just to see where it was sitting. And it was roughly about right where the Reef Factory pH monitor pen probe was sitting at. And that gives you kind of text alerts, it's got the app and so forth. So I realized that this was a great option, but the problem is this was getting exhausted very quickly and it was a cheap option to get started. So I ditched this and went over to the big boy, which was the same brand, ATI, and it's obviously made of acrylic and plastic or so forth. It's really well built, and the airline tubing would connect to the top here. The pad is on the top that can be removed, and this holds 4 liters of media. The pack here, I can't remember what these cost, about £26 for 4 liters. And the way it would work obviously is I would refill this once it's exhausted, and you can see when it's exhausted because it starts to change color to this purple color, and then that's when you know it's exhausted. What I also did was is basically marked it up and put a sticker here when I changed the meter out, and then that just gives me a clear indication of how long it's actually lasting. And I'll just show you on the reef tank how that's kind of working. So if we just show you below. Now, if you can hear the noise, this is from the skimmer at the moment without the CO2 scrubber on. Now, it's not loud, but the CO2 scrubber helps me in a big way as well because it dampened the noise of the skimmer. So it just makes a normal skimming sound, and when the doors are closed it's not too bad, but you can hear it, and that bothered me. So what we've got is we've got just a piece of airline tube in here that you could use for water changes, and it's just connected to the inline of the skimmer, and you can see I've just put these 2 little hoses on because that's how it was kind of connected onto. I need to buy something that would adjust into kind of a proper fitting, but this works really well for now. My pH is sitting at 8.38. I've just disconnected, but if I were to leave this off, it would drop to around 81, 82 without the CO2 inline scrubber on. And all we've done is just obviously placed it inside the stand because that dampened the noise as well. And it's just sucking from obviously through the tube. So we just connect the tube on. You'll hear the noise change instantly. You just push that fitting on, and that's it. And now you can't hear the skimmer; it's dead silent. And that basically monitors my pH through the refractory pH probe, and obviously the app. And it's skimming through there, so increasing the pH dampens the noise. And this media will last me around 3 to 4 months. It's a great investment. Anyone looking to get a CO2 scrubber, and I thought it was quite complicated once I basically researched it and tried it. I would never have a reef tank without a CO2 scrubber. The other option is to run the line directly out of wall to fresh air, but the issue with that is I'm in a city, the air cleanliness is not great, and if you're on a ground floor and someone's doing gardening or spraying any pesticides or anything, obviously it could come into your airline and go into your tank. So that's another consideration. You don't need one of these to be successful. You could just run the airline outside, or have the windows open in your house a lot more. And generally speaking, I do have the windows open, and I think that's probably why I'm only going through this CO2 media quite slowly. There's only 2 people in the house, and then there's just a pet cat. So I don't think the CO2 is quite high in here. You can get a CO2 monitor for the house, and then you can see how high it is. And then once you add this as well, obviously you know it's just going to help you in the long run. But you can see how easy that was to connect up. You just fill the media, connect up the tube on the top, and then just connect straight into your inline of your skimmer. Make sure the skimmer will support that, and this is just the max spec jump, and I managed to adapt it. Really, I should get a better connection because I may be losing some from the line itself a little bit, but it's holding at 8.38, and I've tested that, and that's correct. So you know, I don't really get above 4. The other thing to take into consideration is once you hook this up, you'll notice that your corals will grow a lot better and bigger, but the issue there is that you'll uptake alkalinity and calcium quicker, and then you'll need to watch your dosing and test and increase those levels to combat that. Guys, I hope you liked the video today just on the CO2 scrubber and the brand behind the ATI. Amazing product, really well built. It is a bit of a cost outlay on this originally, but this will last me years as long as I don't crack it or anything. And the actual media itself, as I said, lasts 3 or 4 months for me, depending on, you know, the CO2 in your house and so forth. But just a real cheap, easy option to not be drilling through walls, and obviously increase your pH and have a better overall health of coral. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.